title. A little girl's search for her father leads to an unexpected reunion full of love. In the quaint town of Maplewood, life often moved at a slow, predictable pace. Nestled amidst rolling hills and lush meadows, its courthouse stood as a symbol of justice and order, a place where stories of disputes, resolutions, and justice unfolded daily. Yet on a chilly Friday afternoon, an extraordinary story began to take shape within its walls, one that would forever change the lives of those involved. It started when the courthouse doors creaked open. A little girl, no more than 6 years old, stepped inside. Her frame was tiny, her oversized coat hung loosely on her, and her pigtails were slightly undone. In her small hands, she clutched a tattered teddy bear, a relic of comfort in a world that had often been unkind to her. Her blue eyes, filled with determination, darted around the imposing marble lobby. The courthouse guard, Hank, a burly man with a thick mustache and a reputation for being gruff, glanced up from his crossword puzzle. The sight of the child startled him. It wasn't every day that a little girl wandered into such a serious place. "Hey, kiddo," Hank called out, his voice rough but not unkind. "What are you doing here? This isn't a playground." The girl straightened up, clutching her teddy bear tightly. "I'm here to see my dad," she said, her voice small but steady. "Your dad?" Hank asked, bewildered. "Who's your dad?" "Judge James Carter," she replied, her words ringing out with conviction. Hank blinked. Judge Carter? That was a name everyone in town knew. He was a man of integrity and composure, known for his fair judgments and dedication to the law. But a daughter? That was news. "Look, kid," Hank began, standing up. "I don't think." Before he could finish, the girl bolted. She slipped past him with surprising agility, her small shoes tapping against the marble floor as she darted down the corridor. Hank hurried after her, his footsteps echoing loudly. The little girl stopped abruptly in front of a large wooden door with a brass nameplate that read, "Judge James Carter." Without hesitation, she pushed it open and stepped inside. Inside the chamber, Judge James Carter sat at his polished oak desk, engrossed in reviewing case files. A man in his early 40s, Carter was known for his calm demeanor and sharp intellect. But when the door swung open, his pen froze mid-sentence, and he looked up, startled. Standing in the doorway was the little girl, her blue eyes locked on his. "Daddy," she cried out, her voice filled with hope and desperation. James Carter stared, his usually composed face betraying a flicker of confusion. The word daddy echoed in his mind, foreign yet strangely familiar. The guard burst in behind her, panting heavily. "Judge Carter, I'm sorry, she ran right in." James raised a hand to silence him, his attention fixed on the child. "It's okay, Hank," he said quietly. "Leave us for a moment." As the door closed behind the guard, James knelt down to the girl's level. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Lila," she replied, her grip tightening on the teddy bear. "Lila?" James repeated, tasting the name as though it held a secret meaning. "Why do you think I'm your dad?" The little girl hesitated, then held up her teddy bear. Sewn into its side was a small, faded tag. On it, in neat handwriting, were the words James Carter. James's heart skipped a beat. Memories began to surface, vivid and sharp. Years ago, during a charity event at a local orphanage, he had handed a teddy bear to a small child. It had been a fleeting moment, one of many acts of kindness in a life devoted to justice and community. But now, here it was, staring him in the face. "Where did you get this bear?" he asked, his voice almost a whisper. "It's mine," Lila said. "I've always had it. The people at the orphanage told me you gave it to me." James felt a lump in his throat. He hadn't thought about that day in years, yet here was this little girl, holding on to that memory as if her life depended on it. "Why did you come here, Lila?" he asked. She looked down at the floor, her voice trembling. "Because I don't have anyone else. They said you're my dad, and I wanted to know if it's true." James's chest tightened. He didn't know what to say. Was it possible? Could he really be her father? And if not, what then? He couldn't send her back to the orphanage without answers. That weekend, James visited the orphanage where Lila lived. It was a small, rundown building on the edge of town, its faded paint and creaky floors a testament to years of neglect. The director, Mrs. Bailey, greeted him with a weary smile. She had dedicated her life to caring for children who had nowhere else to go. "She's a bright girl," Mrs. Bailey said as they sat in her cluttered office. But she's been through a lot. She was left on our doorstep as a baby, with nothing but that teddy bear. We always wondered about her parents. James explained what had happened and showed her the tag on the bear. Mrs. Bailey's eyes widened. So you think you might be her father? I don't know, James admitted, but I need to find out. The next few days were a whirlwind. James arranged for a DNA test, but it would take time to get the results. In the meantime, he decided to spend as much time as possible with Lila. He took her to the park, read her bedtime stories, and even baked cookies with her. A task that ended with both of them covered in flour and laughing uncontrollably. For James, these moments were transformative. He had always thought of himself as a man defined by his career, his achievements, and his dedication to the law. But Lila reminded him of something deeper. The joy of connection, the power of unconditional love. When the DNA results finally arrived, James opened the envelope with trembling hands. The words stared back at him, clear and undeniable, 99.9% match. Lila was his daughter. Tears filled his eyes as he processed the revelation. Somewhere in his past, a connection he hadn't even realized he'd made had brought this beautiful, brave little girl into his life. And now, she was here, looking up at him with those same blue eyes, waiting for his answer. Yes, Lila, he said, pulling her into his arms. I'm your daddy. Her face lit up with joy, and she hugged him tightly. I knew it, she cried. I knew you were my daddy. In the weeks that followed, James worked tirelessly to adopt Lila officially. The process was complicated, but he was determined. He transformed his home, turning a spare room into a cozy bedroom for her. They decorated it together, painting the walls a soft yellow and filling it with books, toys, and fairy lights. Lila's laughter echoed through the house, filling the spaces that had once felt so empty. As they settled into their new life together, James couldn't help but reflect on how much Lila had changed him. She had reminded him of the importance of family, of love, and of the simple joys that often get lost in the busyness of life. Every evening, they sat together and shared 3 things they were grateful for. A tradition that had quickly become their favorite part of the day. Final reflection. This story is a testament to the power of love, hope, and second chances. Lila's journey to find her father wasn't just about discovering a parent. It was about finding a home, a sense of belonging, and a love that would never let her go. If this story touched your heart, we encourage you to share it with others. By subscribing to our channel, Life Stories 365, you'll join us on a journey of exploring heartwarming tales that remind us of the beauty of life and the resilience of the human spirit. Please like, comment, and share this video with someone who might need a little inspiration today. And don't forget to check out our other videos for more uplifting stories. Together, let's celebrate the connections that make life truly meaningful. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next story. Let me know if you'd like further edits or if you need additional details to enhance this story.